Welcome to Gifted Underachievers, the podcast for mid-level creatives with delusional ambitions. In this segment, Pat and James explore how if we as creatives don't build something we want, no one else will. We live DIY creative lives.
Hey James.
Yes, Pat, just a second, please.
Oh,
I'm down in the IKEA sponsored wing of the Gifted Underachievers sofa lounge. Trying to put together another one of these goddamn IKEA sofas that they send us for free like every other week.
right.
Uh, God,
I know. I
fucking
know.
IKEA.
Yeah.
They have more crap.
Well,
These,
I mean, a
these
lot of
busybody Swedes or Norwegians or whoever
uh,
the heck.
listen, don't get personal on these people. They have a great thing. Now, why are they sponsoring us? I forget.
Because we're handy. We are DIYers of the extreme.
Oh, and you've got those extra digits too.
And I've got my polydactyl hand,
Are you doing
which
videos?
means I have my fingers at everybody's business.
All these pies. Wait, that's the pie room. Uh, Yeah, the DIY thing. You're right. I mean, we do. Do we advocate DIY? Catch me up here.
Yeah, yeah, because that's what we're all about
Right.
as creatives.
Oh, DIYing.
Yeah, we
Mm.
are, like every creative should be sponsored by IKEA or at the very least be allowed to go in once a month and get some free meatballs
Oh my God, I'd love that. Meatballs are my number one.
at IKEA. Yeah, you
Well, not
know.
at IKEA. No, I like a good Italian meatball too, not just
Oh,
the
you do?
Swedish.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. So you're all over the map with the meatballs.
I'm a meatball agnostic.
All right. Well, watch out, Palermo.
Spain.
Yeah, what is the Spanish tapas meatball?
Oh, I'm sure it's delicious.
Yeah. But anyway, there was a point to this.
Yeah, okay, what? What was it?
Well, the point was is that, as creatives, whether it's the creative adjacent work or your core creative work, if you don't build it, it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
And so the fact of the matter is, whether we accept it or not, we live in a DIY creative world.
Right. Okay. All right, fair enough. And so just now I have this image of somebody not accepting that reality and just to concretize it a little bit, would that be like an artist in their studio going, well, the gallery has not appeared offering me space on their wall, so therefore I'm just going to do my art at home and never send it out anywhere. Is that the idea or?
Yeah, I mean, well, I think it's, you know, so on a lot of different levels, right? So one, it's very easy to sit around with a bunch of writers and talk about all the problems of the publishing world and how unfair it is, right?
Mm,
But if you're ever going to make change in the publishing world, you have to do it. You have to stand up. You have to be, organized and go out there and do it. But the other piece of this is you and I both, and we've talked about this a lot, which is why I feel very confident saying it, is when we first started our careers as creatives, we had no idea what we were doing, really.
100%.
Right? I mean,
100.
we knew our skill set, our
Yeah.
core skill set, writing, editing. But in terms of understanding how to build a business out of it, total DIY,
True.
completely DIY.
Yeah.
So any initiative that we want to do, like, it's useless to sit around waiting for something to happen
Yeah.
or waiting for someone else or some other organization or some entity to create something for you,
Yeah.
right?
Hmm.
Uh, that's just not going to happen. And it's like when I think about somebody who has a jobby job,
Yeah.
right, you can expect that HR is going to sort out insurance issues and benefits packages, and you can be sure that your supervisor is going to set goals and,
Yeah.
tell you, here's the work we need you to do. And you can be sure that the people who report to you, are going to do the things that you instruct them to do. Whether they do it the way you want them to or not is another thing. But we don't have that. We don't
Hmm.
have an HR department. We don't have a marketing team. We
Yeah.
don't have, all these kinds of things. And so we have to invent it for ourselves.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we don't even have any rules. There's no creative business fairy that comes down on the first day you're in your, on your couch or in your bed or wherever you start your business from and says, oh, here's the rules. You got to book this much work this month in order to pay for this much stuff. You've got to get this training. You've got to see yourself in 5 years. Who are you? What kind of person do you want to be? Do you want to be doing this full time? Do you want to be doing other stuff? Um, so we don't have that kind of, like you say, structure or even kind of a, I don't know, container, really.
Hmm.
um you it's up to you to educate yourself as well as to do everything yourself. And so, I'm sure there's a lot of mentorship. I've been reading that Sharon Loudon series,
Ah, yeah.
Living and Sustaining a Creative Life, and one of the constants is more than every couple essays, probably every essay, there's this idea, yes, you need to be in your studio, you need to be making stuff, and you need to do all of these other things.
Hmm.
There's how you do these other things and which ones of them you do are optional, are sort of up to you creatively to decide. Do I want to um, be an artist assistant? Do I want to teach art? Do I want to help galleries, work in a gallery? But there's all these other ways to make a living while you focus on your creative stuff. The part that's not optional is focusing on your creative stuff. Um,
Mm.
and that doesn't mean it gets all of your time. It means you in order to be creative, like actually create stuff, you almost have to put 50% of your focus on 10% of your time, because otherwise
Mm.
that time doesn't even happen. So without
Right.
that focus being an underlying driver, you can't even get 5 or 10% of your time on that stuff,
Hmm.
because the cost of living a life requires a lot of other time. So I guess the DIY part for me is goes right to the basics. You have to DIY your commitment from day one, and you've got to
Hmm.
DIY your willingness to learn and be a student for the rest of your creative career. And by that,
Hmm.
not just a student of the craft, but also of how to make money out of it, how to network in it, how to do all these, how to grow, how to get better
Hmm.
at it. And yeah, so I think anybody who's a little bit, I guess, resistant to the
Hmm.
fact that you're basically doing everything
Hmm.
conceptually yourself. There is nobody else doing it. Plus, you're doing it operationally and systemically.
Yep.
Um, there's and financially. I mean, those are all the
Yeah.
basics that you have to cover yourself. And if you're resistant to all of those, you're just not going to have any creative work at all. If you're
Yeah.
resistant to two out of the four of them, you're either going to have to hire it out or fail.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, and it's not just resistance, but having an expectation that, I shouldn't have to do this, somebody else should be doing this,
Yeah, I mean,
right?
are there any outliers like that? People who think that way?
Yeah, I think there probably are. They don't succeed because
Yeah,
they can't, you can't get past that, right?
yeah, yeah,
Or if you don't get past that, you're just not going to succeed.
yeah.
And it's like you got to DIY the structure of your business. You got to
Hmm.
DIY, how you work.
Hmm.
Uh, like you were saying, 50% of your effort has to go to protecting that 10% of your capacity to do your own creative work.
Yeah,
You've got to DIY all the just the business stuff,
yeah,
right? Figuring out your taxes. Yeah, you can hire somebody, but you got to figure, all that out.
Yeah.
And then, there's the very practical stuff. What are the tools that you're going to use,
Mm,
right? For us, computers are the big, big, big one,
yeah.
but also other books and that kind of thing. So
Yeah.
you got to figure that out. But also, your workspace.
Yeah.
How are you going to organize it in a way that's productive but feels comfortable? Like you can sit here for 12 hours
Yeah.
to, hammer something out.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you have resistance to just standing up and saying, nobody else is going to do it, I'm going to have to do it, then probably isn't a business that you should be in, you know?
I don't think it should be. And just to be clear, I can't imagine the unicorn who's resistant to every aspect of what they want to do because they just would just go get a job, you know? But
Yeah.
I can imagine the average, let's call them the average creative, who's resistant to one out of four of the aspects of the business that need to be under your control or understood by you at the very least, so you can hire it out if you have the money. If you're resistant to one of the four, I think that's probably pretty normal. I'm
Hmm.
kind of resistant to financial stuff. I don't really enjoy it, but I have
Hmm.
to do it because otherwise I don't file taxes. And if I don't file taxes, the government comes after me. And in Canada,
That's
that looks
good.
like two guys in red suits on horseback.
Um, yeah, and they're not, nice.
Well,
They're
I
not
mean,
gonna they're not gonna Dudley do right yet.
that
They're gonna
was Dudley even nice? I think he was
well, it
very
seemed like it. He had that big chin.
he was a bit of a Dudley. His chin echoed his hat brim, or I mean his hat crown. Anyway, we're getting a little what sidetracked?
I knew we're doing that again.
Yeah, but so you can kind of, you've got to look I am resistant, a little bit resistant, I'm gonna say, to figuring out margins, like what
Hmm.
what am I making the most on that takes the least effort? Like,
Mm,
I don't
yeah.
fucking know. I've avoided that topic for at least 10 years. Um, this might be the year I actually look at it and go, wait a minute,
This is that year.
I'm doing this all wrong. Uh,
Yeah, well, and I don't think it's so much there's you're absolutely right. There's the stuff coming in that you can see
yeah.
and having a resistance to one or three or five. But there's also all the stuff that as you're going along you discover, oh
Hmm.
shit, I've got to do this,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like, for this podcast,
Oh my
you have
God.
been our graphic designer and
Yeah, right.
you've done an excellent job
Thank you
and
so
but
much.
you've had to DIY it and figure it out and what are the tools that you're going to use and what are the configurations that everything has to meet so it shows up the right way,
Yeah. I mean, we had to figure
um
out how to technically connect our Substack podcast to like Apple and Spotify and all those things so
yeah.
anybody could listen to it anywhere. That took me fucking hours because I'm not in the business. I don't know how that stuff
Yeah.
works,
And then
you know?
our show documents, we started out with,
Right?
kind of a basic title time, and that's developed into, the links that we want to provide and
Yeah.
all these kinds of things.
Yeah.
So, if somebody had said to me, what are all the things you're going to have to DIY as a podcaster? I would have thought, well, probably what you're going to talk about.
Yeah.
But, hey, there's a lot more.
There's way
And
more. Yeah.
yeah, and you're going to discover these things. Some of them you're going to see, but a lot of them you're going to discover as you go along. And so it really helps to be able to put yourself into a mindset where you just readily accept, oh, I have to do this,
Yeah.
you know, as
Yeah.
opposed to, why can't I get somebody else to do it kind of thing.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
when it's already done.
And and I don't think you'll last very long if you have that other mindset or gee, I
Yeah.
wish this wasn't part of it or you just refuse to see that it's part of it and you go through life wondering why nobody's listening to your shit, which is possible, right? I mean,
Yeah.
we knew we had to learn how to edit audio. We did not know we had to learn all this, some of this other stuff. I mean, it kind of makes sense, but that you would have to connect your Substack home to all these other things. But I remember initially I was looking at Podbean, I was looking at all of these other alternatives because I didn't know what I didn't know. That's the
Yeah.
other part, yeah, which is kind of what you
Yeah.
just said. We don't know what we
Yeah.
don't
Well,
know.
we had to learn, like, before doing this, I had no idea there was even a term called ducking,
Right.
you know? So, and I think, mindset, I don't mean to say that there's people who have it and people who don't.
Yeah.
I think, I'll run into times where I'm feeling really stressed over, there's too much, and I'll just kind of get like, I don't want to do this,
Yeah.
isn't somebody else doing, why doesn't this already exist? Or, those kinds of things.
Yeah.
And so I have to be able to take a step back, take a breath, center, and say, no, this is how this works. And, I've got to figure it out.
I think
So,
that makes sense. That I like that you said that. It's in every person. It's
mhm,
uh it's about various parts of whatever you're doing creatively, the stuff that you didn't realize you would have to do or didn't know that it was going to be as complicated as it is the stuff that can just put your back up. Some days I can't, there's just things I can't do. Like you just said, I can't,
mhm,
uh, I don't have the bandwidth. I don't have the energy.
mhm,
I don't want to. Next day, I've come to terms with it. I think maybe
mhm,
the whole thing about the DIY stuff is you have to come to terms with it maybe over time and gather your context and figure out, if there's easier
mhm.
ways to do it. Because I really do things the hard way. I'm an Aries. I don't know if you knew that about me, James.
No, I'm a Gemini. I'm mercurial.
Oh, you're mercurial.
Yeah, my favorite quality.
I'm a ram, and I automatically do things the hard way. If there's a steep side of the mountain and a gentle side, I'll go up the steep side because I don't take the time to look around
Yeah.
and see if there's a better side to take. So I don't believe in horoscopes, by the way, but it's just something to consider. When you have your resistance bits that you don't want to DIY, it
Yeah.
it can,
Well,
you know,
and I'm going to point out that Pat said the key word context building,
yes.
right? So longtime listeners will be like, oh, there it is again. First time listeners, Hendrik Hertzberg,
Henry
am I getting that?
Henrik Carlson,
Henrik Carlson. Wow. Okay.
Escaping
See, I
Flatland.
have an iron trap for names. But that's a key piece is this context capturing.
Mhm.
Yeah, and that helps big problems feel a little bit less or more manageable and a little less big. But
Yeah, because then they rely on your curiosity, which dissolves resistance, I think.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So,
All
but
right.
yeah, so I think, the end, my sort of high level, endpoint is it's normal and natural to get out of that DIY, I have to build it if it's going to happen mindset, but it is very much part of this creative life,
Hmm.
and so you got to figure that out.
Yeah.
And it's never the same thing twice, probably, but embracing it.
Yeah.
It's
And for anybody listening, let us know if you pop into the chat and let us know what's the weirdest or most unexpected thing you've ever had to DIY in service of your
uh,
creative life.
yes, yes, very good, very good. All right, now I'm going back to the IKEA sofa lounge.
Yeah, okay. Keep it down, okay?
Yeah, okay. It's my rubber hammer. Thanks for listening to Gifted Underachievers, the podcast for mid-level creatives with delusional ambitions. We'd love to hear how we're doing, so please leave a comment, join our chat page, or send us an email at giftedunderachievers@substack.com. You can find us on Spotify, iTunes, and anywhere else you like to download your podcasts. Also, please hit the share and or subscribe button. It really does help a lot. And please also have an awesome day.